this is gonna be a bit of a weird one. It's just me. I'm just everything. I think actually other people are online right now, but I don't feel like bugging any of them to do this, so I'm just gonna do it on my own. Hope that's not too big an issue for you. Anyway, welcome to the most intelligent podcast on the internet. Not really, but kinda. See, today we are going to be I am going to be studying for a final because I have it tomorrow, I guess afternoon. I was going to say tomorrow morning, but the class starts at noon, so it's just like right there at the start of the afternoon. Now, the issue with it is I'm not the smartest boy. And I have to teach myself this entire, it's like, how many chapters is it? It might be, okay, let's see. Chapters 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 17. God damn, 6 chapters, and I'm trying to learn it in like 2 or 3 days. And so I have these flashcards here, and then a practice test, which I will cut back to maybe twice. But the fun thing about doing this on my own is that I can actually finish this podcast tomorrow, and you'll know. No, wait, shit. I won't be able to give you the results. I for whatever reason, I was under the impression I could. If she corrects them really quick, then I could. She'll probably take a few days though. Well, shit, I don't know. She did the other one's really quick. It's possible if I wait till like the last second on Wednesday to upload this. If I wait till the last possible second, I might be able to include if all this studying on this podcast is successful or not. And what's fun too, I'm standing for this one. I normally, I'm sitting, I'm kind of running the show, but right now I'm standing. It's a lot of fun. Getting real wild and crazy. All right, let me kind of shuffle up my cards a little bit. I'm not going to talk about microbiology the whole time because I'm not someone who should. But I think what I'll do is I'll pull out a few cards here and there, and I'll just kind of see if I can answer them. So we'll do one right now. Interferons. See, okay, here's another issue. When I'm trying to study for these things, I'm not actually sure what the correct pronunciation of some of these things actually is. Interferons. Interferons. I don't know if that's what it is, but so let me think. I have the answers written on the back of this flashcard. I believe an interferon is a microbe. No, it's not a microbe. If it's part of your body, it's part of your immune response. It's part of the second line of defense. See, this is my studying process. And it's a new process because I really didn't study before like this year. Well, this school year, so starting September to now May. Because in the past I'd be like, nah, I'll just wing it. And it always worked out fine enough. But this one I'm like, well, it's like I'm paying for it, and this microbiology class is way harder. So I'm actually gonna have to I'm putting in some of that extra effort. Did I study it all? I don't think I studied for anything last semester. So it's actually just this year, 2018, that I've actually started studying. Interesting. Anyway, interferons, part of the second line of defense. Yeah. And it's interferons interfere with the replication of viruses and or pathogens. Small protein produced in response to viruses, RNA, immune products, and various antigens. All right, that's not terrible. I don't think I'll ever have to actually define anything on the test. So getting that close at least gives me an idea so I can give some sort of an educated guess for whatever. All right, we'll do 2 more. Immunity classification. So I wrote a little note on it. This is related to question 5 on the practice quiz. Okay, okay. Okay, I take a little peek and I can answer it now. So there's 4 things. There's active immunity, passive immunity, natural immunity, and artificial immunity. Active is you're born with it. Passive is something you receive. Natural is injected, and artificial is injected. Okay, there's a bottom half. So let me check if I'm right with that. Yeah, active is self. Passive is generated actively by somebody else. Okay, so that's okay. All right. Natural is ingested. Artificial is injected. Boom, got it. And then there is active. Self-generated, passive is borrowed. Yeah. Oh yeah, because then passive stuff that you receive from other people, like your parents, for example, when you're born, it's specifically your mother, that it's not permanent. That's one thing I remember. One of the few things I actually remember. All right. So then, and then there's active natural. It's like when you get sick and recover. Passive natural. That's like the stuff you get from a parent because it's I guess ingested. I may have written this kind of weird. And then there's active artificial, which is so active This is me trying to remember everything I've written down for future reference. So active is you, natural is ingested. So what's the example I used? Oh, like a vaccine. Okay. And the passive artificial is, wait. Is that, artificial because it's injected. Doi. So passive artificial, then something else produces the antigen. So, So passive artificial is like a snake bite because the snake, because you get like antivenom from a snake. And so the snake is producing it. Oh, that all makes sense. Okay. All right. I got that. Okay. All right. We'll take a little break from that. I got a fucking huge stack of these things, but I can't imagine it's especially interesting to hear to someone talk about microbiology. Someone who doesn't know what they're talking. If someone knows what they're talking about, it can be really interesting. Like actually, quite frankly, listening to the instructor talk about this shit, it actually is kind of interesting. But I'm not my instructor, so I've written down. I've taken. I'll just keep on it for just a minute more. I've taken the practice test 3 times, and I tried each time, like I'm kind of remembering some of the answers, but it's more like memorizing this test. But I'm trying to, every time I take it, to it's like, what is my gut instinct? What is like if this was the first time, how would I answer this question? And so the first time I took it, I got 0 correct. It was 0 out of 16. 16? Yeah, 16. 0 out of 16 right. And then the next time, I don't remember the numbers, 37%. So I moved up, 37% increase the second time. That was all right. And then I took it this morning, or it was this afternoon. I didn't go to class this morning because I don't know if there was class. And I got 56%. So again, moving up little bits at a time. So I'm hoping then towards the end of this podcast, when I take it again for one last time, that I do all right. If I can pass the practice exam with even like a D, like a 60%, then I feel like I can go and take the actual exam and I could probably get a similar grade. And if I do, I'll pass the class. And that's great. Basically, so there's in this class, there were 3 exams and they count for like 80% of our grade, which is bullshit. But it's got me to really try more than I ever have. So there was the first one I got 60%, the second one I got 80%. So that really helped. Like this, so after the first test, my grade was in the fucking toilet. But then after the second one, it kind of got brought up, and I'm doing all right. I'm at a mid C, so I was happy. If I bomb this next test, I don't think I'll fail. I think I might not do as well then, and might drop my grade back down to like a mid to low D. But that's a pass, and that makes me happy. I'll be okay with that. So now for an actual dorky topic, what's fun? It's standing here. I can kind of bounce a little bit. It's kind of fun. It also kind of feels like I'm doing stand up, which is kind of dumb. If I held the microphone too, I'd probably feel more like that, but I'm not going to bother with that. Anyway, so a topic. We'll go with the topic. I want to rank the Star Wars movies in preparation for Solo, a Star Wars story. You know what? Yeah, we'll just we'll do a nice easy topic that I'm sure won't get anybody mad whatsoever, right? So let's just jump into it. Should I start at the bottom or the top? Let me think. I'll start at the bottom. I think it's fun to work your way up, and then you get that big reveal at the end. So we'll start with Attack of the Clones. What a fucking movie. It has bits, it has moments. I think there's a bit in Attack of the Clones that might be the best scene from the prequels. Just after, well actually no, it's okay, so leading up into the bit where as Anakin and Padme are going into the arena, whatever it is, the gladiator, space gladiator thing. They have this, it's really cheesy dialogue, but it's actually shot really nice.
What are you talking about?
I love you.
You love me?
And so they're talking about I love you, blah blah blah. And after the whole movie of Padme being like, get the fuck out of here. And then they go through this archway and they're silhouetted and they kiss finally, or is it finally? Might not be finally. But either way, they kiss and the music swells and it's John Williams, so obviously it's a great score. And they pull through into this whole arena, and there's all the fucking Geonosians are like, and they're freaking out all through the stands, and it's goddamn gorgeous. I'm getting chills thinking about it because that's just how I am with Star Wars. I cry at trailers and everything too. And then it continues being good. They go over and Obi-Wan's already there. He's been there for the rest of the movie. I'm not gonna go through and explain the whole goddamn plot of every movie. We've got a lot of shit to get through. So yeah, they pull over. They go over to Obi-Wan. He's there, and they have some fun, witty dialogue. And he's like, "Oh, good, glad you listened to my instructions." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, it's her fault." And then all of a sudden, yeah, then they bring out these giant bugs, or well, yeah. So it's like the one like lizardy thing, it looks like a sea monster kind of deal. It's like goes, you know the one. And then then there's like the rhino-y looking one, and then there's like the kind of cat-like one that has like a flat face, but not flat like front flat, like top flat. And then there's actually then they're having to survive these animals, and like Padme crawls up to the top of the pillars they're tied to, and then the cat thing comes up, it claws her and rips off half her shirt because of course it does. It's like, 25-year-old Natalie Portman. Of course you're gonna try to take her clothes off, right? Come on, George Lucas, you damn perv. Obi-Wan gets one of the spears from one of like the animal handlers. Anakin is able to use the Force, and then it's really cool. And then it kind of gets like silly and cheesy when all of a sudden everyone has a lightsaber. There's 6,000 lightsabers, and it's just like, wow, look, cool lightsabers. And I mean, it was, as a young kid seeing it, it was fucking amazing. But you get older, and it's kind of like, all right, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. And I think that's people who were older at the time. That's probably a big reason why they don't like it. And as I've kind of grown, I agree. And I, like I said, yeah. So that's probably like the best scene from the prequels, quite frankly, if you ask me. But then you get the rest of the movie, and it's like, ugh, boring. There's just nothing that happens. It's lots of talking and walking, and I mean, it's a space opera with space wizards, and like it's a romance, and it's goddamn boring. It's the middle movie. It's like where the climax should be, and it's just not. If you think like a classic 3-act structure, you think, at the beginning you're kind of setting things up, and Phantom Menace sort of does that, and then you get to the rising action, and you get to reach the climax of the movie, and your character's at your lowest point, and shit's looking bad. You're in the middle, and you kind of get hints that Anakin's gonna turn at some point, but you only really know that because you know that Darth Vader becomes Anakin. I don't need to wear headphones. I'm gonna take those off. It might help me to walk around and whatnot, because I'm kind of standing around, like I look, in Back to the Future when Doc is kind of racing around talking into his recorder. I think it's just after Marty gets back. Oh yeah, it's in Back to the Future Part 3. He's talking into his recorder. He's in 1955, and he had just sent Marty back to 1985, and all of a sudden, alternate 1985, Marty shows up, and he's like, Doc, you've got to send me Back to the Future. And he's like, "Hey, Scott," and he faints again. And then he wakes up at home, and he's like, "I had this horrible dream, but Marty came back." Anyway, I feel like that. And then we move on to my number 2 worst. How many are there? How many Star Wars movies are there? There's 9. There's 9. So I guess number 8 would go to The Phantom Menace, because, it's dog shit. It was, when you think about the vision that was had for the prequel trilogy and the kind of the direction they went, it was much more aimed towards children. They wanted the children to be happy. That's why Jar Jar was such a big part of the Phantom Menace. And yet, the Phantom Menace as a kid was the one I've by far watched the least. I was so goddamn bored with that movie.
How will you explain this invasion to the Senate?
What really happens, And it's also the spot where you get the most wasted potential, because you set up someone so cool like Darth Maul, and chop him in half. You set him up, he's menacing, he's got a cool fucking sick-ass double-bladed lightsaber, you'd never seen that before, and chop him in half, fuck it. It still has a lot of what you would visually, it feels and looks like Star Wars, what you would expect it from the original trilogy. It's the most practical looking movie. There's things coming out recently that they had more miniatures for the prequel trilogy than the original trilogy, and so it's like there's more practical than you realize. But if you can't tell that from looking at it, then you've done something wrong. If people think that your trilogy is just a big ugly CGI fest, then you've done something wrong. Unless that's something you really like. But I guess the pod race is cool, but it's something that's really bugged me since I heard somebody point it out. I think it was Chris Stuckman a couple years ago when he was going through and re-reviewing every Star Wars movie. Every Star Wars movie. He pointed out that every shot, it pans to the right. It starts on the left and then pans to the right. Every shot. and it's always like it's always shot from the right, panning from left to right. So unless you're talking about the ones that are actually like in the pods, it's really kind of weird and boring, and once that was pointed out to me and now hopefully pointed out to you, it kind of ruins that scene. when you just kind of think about how it looks visually. I don't know, it was kind of a bad way to kick off the trilogy, and I think they kind of tried to fix it afterwards, but kind of didn't. But actually, now I'm thinking about it. My next one on the list is also a prequel. It's just not part of the prequel trilogy, because my next movie is Rogue One. God, I really liked it at first when I saw it. I think I saw it two or three times, and 2 times in theaters. And I think the main thing that made me want to come back was the end scene with Darth Vader, which is incredible. But the rest of it, I don't know, who cares? I mean, like, the characters are fucking boring. The story is kind of, and it's only really interesting at the very end when it's just a big exploding action scene, you know? And you even look at some of the shots that were in the trailer that didn't make it into the movie, and you kind of go, oh, so this was better at some point. Because, like, there's the one shot that really I think about a lot when I'm thinking about Rogue One. It's the shot from the trailer where Krennic is in the water on the beach, and he's like walking to the shore. Like, it looks so fucking cool. So it's like, what was he doing on the beach, man? What was he doing out there? Was he gonna go like kick ass? Was he gonna, like, you could totally imagine him being like a Quentin Tarantino Nazi going out there and like being brutal. But maybe Disney and maybe I don't even want to blame Disney. I hate the people who blame Disney for anything they don't like about Star Wars now. That's so fucking dumb. You read every interview from every director now. So I guess it's the 3. It's Gareth Edwards, J.J. Abrams, and Rian Johnson. Disney is not like meddling with all their shit. They've got control. So it very well could have been that Gareth Edwards, then director of Rogue One, had this idea, and I guess I have no reason to believe it was this brutal murder scene or whatever. But if it was, he might have seen that and go, yeah, no, it doesn't quite fit. And, you know, people want to talk about how dark Rogue One is, but it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say it's dark. I'd say it's dim, you know? And it's passable. If I ever want to rewatch a Star Wars movie, it's generally not making the cut. So now for my number 6 slot is the first movie now that I've talked about that I actually would want to go back and see. Speaking of not wanting to go back and watch it, is Revenge of the Sith. Wrapping up the prequel trilogy. It's everyone working on the movies kind of realizing the mistakes they've made, and they're making a movie kind of going back to, it's the closest you get to modernizing Star Wars, I think. I think as I really do like, I'll spoiler now for how this list is going to go. I do really like the direction they've taken with these new movies, but yeah, we'll get to that later. But I think Revenge of the Sith is the best at modernizing George's vision or whatever, you know. Now it has to rank kind of low on this list because it's still kind of shit at places. It gets really boring. Pretty much everything with Yoda and Kashyyyk could have been cool, but it wasn't. It was kind of, and you know, a lot of the stuff with General Grievous could have been cool, but it was just kind of. If they had spent the prequel trilogy, actually including Rogue One, really getting into the characters and making it more a character story more than just like action shit, I don't know. I think that they really could have benefited from that. And I think, so, I mean, you take the prequel trilogy and you really focus on Anakin's demise, his turn to the dark side, which they kind of touch on here and there, but they really don't get it until all of a sudden he just fucking switches, you know? That could have been more interesting. Also, there's those bladed media videos, what if Star Wars Episode 1 was good? What if Star Wars Episode 2 was good? And those movies, those videos, they focus. So the focus of the prequel trilogy is Obi-Wan. The focus of the sequel trilogy is Luke, or the original trilogy. Goddamn, sorry. And then Anakin is the focus of the overall story. And I guess this doesn't include what would be done with the sequel trilogy then. It's an interesting idea, and it seems like a missed opportunity in how you think about it. So anyway, but I like Revenge of the Sith well enough. It has cool bits, I guess. I guess it kind of ends up landing kind of middle of the road, because for me, it is kind of middle of the road. So now, as we're getting towards the top, and we're getting to number 5 now, it does actually make me think we need to do some flashcards. Phagocytosis. That is when a cell, how does it work? This is when the white blood cells engulf a virus or pathogen. See, I never know what I should be saying. I always get virus and pathogen kind of tossed up. The action of white blood cells in which they engulf and digest invading pathogens. So pathogens, okay. So I was close. Okay, that's good. An antigen. I believe that is like the foreign invader microbe. Foreign molecules that stimulate an immune response. Yeah, okay. And they trigger the production of defensive proteins called antibodies. See, the weird thing about antibodies is you would think like it's antibody, but it's like, no, it's pro-body. The first line of defense, that is like the wall around your portals of entry. So it's like your skin, it's your mucus, it's saliva, I believe semen and vaginal, what are there? It's like vaginal juices or something. Oh, and the acid and urine of the vagina, right? And then and the genetic immunity is also included in that. So it's like I always imagine when I'm thinking about that, trying to remember what that is. I imagine like an actual, like a wall around a castle, which I guess is probably kind of related to why it's called the first line of defense like that. And then I don't know if I said one more, but this is one more. Types of immunity. There is innate immunity, which is something you're born with, and that includes the first and second line of defense. And then there's acquired immunity, which is the third line of defense. All right, number 5. I think I'm gonna stick. God, yeah. See, my instinct says Return of the Jedi, but I also could very well stick The Force Awakens right there. I'm gonna stick Return of the Jedi there because that first Return of the Jedi is starting to move into what George ended up doing with the prequels, where it's kind of useless a lot of the time. Not a lot affects anything, and there's the whole thing about Harrison Ford, and quite a few other people thought that Han Solo should have died in that movie. So I think Return of the Jedi goes in the number 5 slot. But goddamn, the end bit with Luke fighting Vader finally, or not finally, again, for the final time, really. God, it's so goddamn good. The music is so goddamn good. The Emperor is amazing. So especially the bit when Luke is hiding underneath the stairs or whatever, and Vader's kind of looking around for him, and he's like, oh, you'll turn. Bid you will. Oh, and maybe if you won't, oh, your sister. He goes, buh. And then Luke gets really mad, and then they start swinging, and then, like, the shot is kind of wide, and it just kind of tracks with them as they fight across the screen, and you'll. And it's just, it's good. Great. I'm going to watch it right after this fucking podcast. And yeah, it has to kind of rank higher than all these other movies because it's good still. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I like most of these movies well enough, even the ones that rank really low. But I mean, some have to go somewhere, in this ranking. And so yeah, I think it's, I'm going to stick Return of the Jedi number 5. And then number 4, I'll stick, that's because it was a toss up, I'll stick The Force Awakens at number 4. Because there's the whole thing about how it's just A New Hope again, but I think that's like the backbone to the movie. That's like kind of what's supporting it. But then on top of that, you have, introducing these new characters, getting us to care about Rey, about Finn, about Poe, about BB-8 even, and trying to understand, and Kylo Ren, of course, Kylo Ren too, oh my god, trying to get us care about these new people and care about, or not necessarily care about, but understand where the universe is now at this point. What has happened in the 30 years after the Return of the Jedi? I mean, where are people? Well, it's like it starts off right the fuck away. Luke Skywalker has vanished. Oh shit! And General Organa, she's not Princess, anymore. She's General now. But it's weird. She's not president. So it's like she's still off fighting folk. And I mean, it's like fucking the Empire is somehow back, and they've got a new Death Star type deal. Ugh. So yeah, I think number 4 is a good spot for it. Then number 3, we're gonna stick. Okay, this top 3 is where it gets real hard because I think really you could swap out the top 3 for all you can swap out all top 3 for each other. Well, no, I think number 1's pretty solid. That one's gonna stay, but you can swap out 2 and 3. Each one could fill each other's spot. Ooh, this is gonna get people mad. I think I'm gonna stick The Empire Strikes Back at number 3. Fuck me, that movie is so goddamn good from start to finish. That's the interesting thing about these. I think these top 3 movies. I don't ever get bored watching the top 3. There's not a moment, like there's some slow bits, especially like when you get to Endor in Return of the Jedi, that I'm like, I can, like if it was on TV or if I was in the theater, I'd be okay with going to the bathroom at that point, but I don't feel like that at all with the top 3. So I don't feel like that with The Empire Strikes Back ever. And that Empire Strikes Back, more than any other Star Wars movie, focuses on what I was talking about earlier. They focus on the character, the emotions. That's what's important. That's what's at the core of that movie. Yeah, like the Darth Vader chasing the rebels, trying to figure out where they are to kill them all because he's really pissed off about A New Hope. That's like the B plot. A plot is the back and forth between Han and Leia. It's about Luke discovering who he is and getting in touch with the Force, like at like a deep level, and he's toying with the dark side. It's a lot like Rey in The Last Jedi. He's kind of dancing with dancing with death, you know? He's getting jiggy with the dark side. And it's just good. It's just real goddamn good. And it's the reason why a lot of people consider it. I mean, probably one of the best sequels of all time, obviously. God, as this list and pretty much every other list would indicate, it's goddamn one of the best Star Wars movies. It's great. The end fight scene's great. Obviously, the great reveal at the end. It's one of these movies that's really hard to find a fault with, quite frankly. And then here is where the anger comes in, because I'm gonna stick The Last Jedi at number 2, because I think it's fucking great. People want to talk about how none of it makes sense and all of it's stupid and they ruin Luke and blah blah blah. I 100% disagree. I think the weirdest bit is Canto Bight, and I think there's some weird pacing editing issues. Not in story, just editing. But that's it. And even still, I don't care about any of that. I think actually my biggest thing I want to say I don't give a fuck about, that a lot of people complain about, like, Admiral Akbar should have gotten a hero's death. Who the fuck cares about Admiral Akbar? He's just a fish boy. I don't care. He was in like 2 minutes of the original trilogy. He was like in 2 minutes of Return of the Jedi. Who cares? I mean, I should say who cares, because a lot of people care. That's one of the weirdest criticisms. I killed him off screen. How dare they? Did you even realize he was in that boardroom until they mentioned that? Were you watching the background like, oh fuck yeah, there's my boy. Yes, Admiral Akbar, my boy. I found him. Oh yeah. That's why I wore this Admiral Akbar t-shirt to the movie, because he's my favorite. No one fucking cares. No one cares. They just want to get mad. And people complain about space, or what Leia Poppins. It's fine. It's fine. Who cares? And because I think a big reason why I like it, and I almost wonder if there's a big reason why people don't, is again, like Empire Strikes Back, and like what I would want from every other Star Wars movie, the characters are again the focus. Rey and Luke are together off on, I don't know, island planet or whatever, and again, it's like a debate on the Force, and it's a debate. They're debating like the philosophy of the Force, and also about what a legend is and what a legend should do, and it's a very meta movie if you want it to be. If you want to compare a lot of the stuff people say in that movie to real life Star Wars fandom, it's like, because people wanted Luke out swinging lightsabers and cutting off people's heads and fucking, I don't know, crushing people with the Force or whatever, but that's not necessarily what he's gonna be like. He's not gonna be the same plucky teenager he was in Return of the Jedi 30 years later. He's not gonna be the same happy-go-lucky boy after, fucking up with Kylo Ren. I mean, that would be stupid. That wouldn't make any sense. He has seen some shit. I mean, there's like what they've hinted at in the movies, or during the movies, and just other shit we don't know about. I mean, 30 years is a long time, and when you're Luke Skywalker, I mean, you're kind of involved in a lot of shit. I mean, he's killed people, man. Killing people messes you up. Yeah, and for us, the audience, stormtroopers are like, disposable people. But I mean, if you the viewer or listener, if you were to kill somebody like that, it would fuck you up, I would assume. So to me, it totally makes sense of why Luke is in the place he is. But why didn't he get into his X-Wing and go fight Kylo Ren and kill him? Because the fucking X-Wing's been under the water for however many years since Luke got there. It's been a hot minute. People have been looking for him for a little while. They want to know where he is. But he's decided now he is of no benefit. He keeps, you know what? We don't know. Maybe he keeps fucking shit up. We've only heard about this one big fuck up. I mean, he was just like, he was constantly getting into his own head about being this legend. He's Luke Skywalker. And he's like, and then just after a while, it just got to him. He keeps fucking things up, and he shouldn't be able to do that. He's a legend. He's Luke Skywalker. But he does. He keeps fucking it up. And then Rey shows up. This fucking bitch. Who's this bitch? What's she doing here? How did she find me? Oh, why? She wants me to be a fucking Jedi? No, I'm done with Jedis. Jedis are fucking dumb. The Jedis keep fucking shit up. You know how much trouble the Jedi have caused? Come on, let's be done. Lady, girl, get the fuck out of here. We're done. And then she's like, I'm determined. I'm gonna stick around, and we're gonna talk this through. And they do. And then she kind of teaches them a bit, but she's tough. Rey is somebody. She's a go-getter. She has kind of a warrior's instinct. She can kind of pick a lot of this shit up. And then there's the whole idea about the Force being, they talk about in this movie. There's the bit with the Force, and when she's first reaching out, and after Luke smacks her with the tree branch or whatever, or the long blade of grass, whatever it is. And, you know, she's looking around, she sees the light in the dark, and you know, she feels the force flowing through all living things, as we've known about now since Empire Strikes Back. Well, fuck, even since A New Hope, when Obi-Wan first talks about the force. And, you know, and Luke's like, well, yeah, see, that's why we can't act like just because the Jedi are gone that the light dies. You know, that's silly. The force is a cosmic entity. You know, it is life in the universe. And I don't know. I need to do more flashcards. Ways bacteria can avoid the effects of a drug. Oh, by the way, so yeah, I like The Last Jedi. Oh, let me think. They can. There's like something about a slime layer, right? No, that's a different question. Okay. I don't know. Drug inactivation, decreased permeability to a drug, activation of drug pumps, change in drug binding site, and use of an alternate metabolic pathway. So let's say for the test, I'll need like 3 of those. How am I going to remember 3? Drug inactivation, activation of drug pumps, and use of an alternate metabolic pathway. Let's see if we can remember those 3. The second line of defense, that is the broad... No, is it broad? Yeah, it's like a broad killing of as many diverse pathogens as you can. And that includes complement... what's the other one we've already done? Interferons. I had to look at the test. Phagocytosis, and a few other things, I don't remember. Generalized nonspecific protective cells and fluids in the tissues of the body, designed to kill a wide variety of foreign invaders, it includes phagocytosis, inflammation, complement, interference. So inflammation was the only one I was forgetting. So that's pretty good. Okay, alright. So I pretty much got that, though. That's good. Drug resistance. This is like, how does a drug resist a drug? No. Come on, dumbass. This is how a microbe can resist a drug. They can inactivate the drug. They can develop an immunity to it. They can... drug resistance is developed through spontaneous mutation or the acquisition of new genes from another organism. The typical modes of drug resistance are the production of enzymes which inactivate the drugs, so kind of got that. Decreased cell permeability to drugs, change in receptor sites, or developed alternate metabolic pathways. Again, alternate metabolic pathways. If I can remember alternate metabolic pathways, I'll be fucking rock solid with this thing. Okay, last one. Then we'll do the top 2, and you know what? I'll risk it. I'll do the test, and we'll finish this bitch up. So 2 classes of specific immunity, though that is innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate being something you're born with, and acquired being acquired? Nope, that's a completely different thing, because that's what I already answered. I should have realized that when I was saying the same exact thing I've already said. So, it's... it's B cells and T cells, which are part of the third line of defense. B cells recognizing the pre-existing foreign invaders. T cells specializing in recognizing and destroying abnormal body cells, including virus-infected cells and cancer cells. Yeah, fuck it, I don't know. But I understand those 2 concepts. I just can't... I think the card kind of fucked me up. Alright, so, number 2... Oh wait, I already did number 2. Yeah, I did The Last Jedi. Okay, so number 1 then. Oh, okay, so we're actually really close to being done then. So number 1 then, the only one left, A New Hope. I mean, the one that started it all. It's just fun. It's just so much goddamn fun. From beginning to fucking end, it's set up so much. I mean, whenever anyone wants to continue stuff in the Star Wars universe, they always reference New Hope. It's such an important movie. I just have such a fucking deep love for it. And when I was a kid and whenever I would stay home sick from school, not whenever, but there was quite a few times when I had done that and watched this documentary that came with the 2005 box set after Revenge of the Sith had come out, and they released the box set of the whole trilogy or the whole saga. And, you know, not realizing that more would come later. There's this documentary about the creation of A New Hope, and it's so interesting because it was just it barely was made. And I think part of that is why I love the movie so much, because I feel like I know and I'm aware of so much history behind that movie and the behind the scenes of that movie in particular. Nobody thought it was going to work, and until Marshall Lucas and another guy, I can't remember his name. They won Oscars for it, but until they'd gone through and edited it. it. It was a goddamn mess. And if you watch the movie, you could kind of see very much how that could happen. And if you look at any of the behind the scenes of the movie, it's very obvious how that could happen. But they just recut some things, made it flow a lot better. Oh my god, it's just perfect. It's not perfect. It's perfect to me. And that's the thing with this list. I mean, obviously when you're talking about opinions of movies and things, and especially something as fucking hostile as Star Wars can be, you got to remember that it is opinion. It is how you, the viewer of these movies, interpret it. And so like a couple weeks ago, one of my favorite channels, Film Joy, in their series Movies with Mikey, they did an episode on The Last Jedi, and the comment section was overall fine. I made a little snarky, sarcastic comment, and I've been getting notifications for weeks now of people arguing in that comment section, or under that comment about this goddamn movie. People are so goddamn angry about The Last Jedi, and people are so angry about The Force Awakens when that came out. They fucking hate. People hate Star Wars. People who love Star Wars hate Star Wars, you know? But you gotta remember, it's all an opinion. So, if I was talking to a critic from 1977, and they'd be like, well, this and this and this, and this, oh, it's all fucking stupid. I'd be like, yeah, but not to me. I love it. I think that's a big thing. I love Star Wars. And that's why, like, on the normal podcast, Maya has brought up a few times that she's not really into Star Wars. She's only seen a couple of them a couple of times. That's insane to me. Like, how can you not just be in love with the universe and all the characters inside of it, and just how magical and fun and just, what's the word? Engaging it all is. I don't get it, but I don't know. I'm a big fan. So yeah, there's my list. Starting from the bottom: Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, and A New Hope. There we go. Beautiful. All right, final thing for this episode. Let's finish studying. Let's see how I do. So now, here we are in Microsoft Word. Whoa. And we're going to do a little practice exam. This whole episode's going to be fucking weird, including this very visual part. It's only, well, I don't know if it's very visual, but. So, number one, we're going to cut there and skip to after I've actually completed the test, because taking the test itself, it's taking a test, so it's really fucking boring. So yeah, let's just jump ahead like 10-20 minutes. Number 16, A, D, B, C. And that's what I got. So finally, I've now jumped up finally to a 62%. Oh my god, I might not totally fucking bomb this test. That's exciting. That's really exciting. I'm proud of the progress I've made, and you know what? I hope you are too. Because this is all for you, baby. So, thanks to the power of time and editing and of course love, it's now a week later, and I actually do have the test results. Which sounds a lot worse than you would think, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Like, I could be like, and I got test results, and I've got cancer. I got the test back. It's positive. I got, what was that? Did I just say a 62% on that practice test? I ended up getting a 65% on the final exam. So, about what I was expecting then, you know, we're in that price range. And then even better, I got a 73.35% in the class. Holy shit. I did it. I passed in my algebra class. I was taking college algebra as well. That class I got a D in, so that wasn't great. But fuck it, I passed that one as well. I've just got a couple more classes to take this over this summer, and then I'm moving on to the Big U, because I'm at a community college. I'm going on to the Big U University, and gonna get some sort of a bachelor's degree. some sort of something. I don't know. Thank you all very much for watching and or listening. If you actually want to support GoBicker in any way, you can go to gobicker.com/Patreon. You can donate at even just the $1 level. It's not like that at the moment of this recording, but by the time this goes out, I'm going to change all the Patreon tiers to just like, it's just support. It's just like, hey, basically, we don't have time to provide any extra content or do anything really. We're just either we're working or we're in school or something, so we're all very busy people. It just doesn't quite totally work out. So it really is just like, hey, do you have an extra $1 to spare this month? Why not donate it, type of deal. And then plus, I always post the podcast first to Patreon, whether sometimes it's like a few hours early, or sometimes it's like an actual, full day early if I haven't procrastinated. But yeah, for this week, because I'm already like almost 2 weeks late, it'll be like a few hours before YouTube. And then if you're an audio listener, same thing, you can just go to gobicker.com/Patreon, and there's a special Patreon only RSS link, so you you would get updated right away, before all the other podcast services kind of get their shit together. So I don't know. There's a few options there for that if you want that. Yeah. So I hopefully we'll be back with more people next week. If not, I'll just do another movie order or something, or Grease 2. I don't know. Anyway, bye.